Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is a dramatized account, presented as if it were the verbatim federal courtroom testimony from the trial of Sean Diddy Combs, as reported by Inner City Press. It began as a routine day in court. Media outlets have been gathered outside the courthouse for hours, anticipating more drama in the ongoing Sean Combs trial. The courtroom gallery was packed, phones confiscated, cameras banned. The atmosphere was electric with expectation, but no one could have foreseen the next bombshell. When the name of the unexpected witness was announced, murmurs swept through the gallery. DaBaby. No entourage, no theatrics. He entered in a black tailored suit, walked straight to the witness stand, and took his place not as an entertainer, but as a reckoner. When prosecutors asked if he had any relevant knowledge about the case, he didn't simply say, yes. He uttered one word, Beyoncé. And just like that, the courtroom turned to ice. The shock was palpable. Phones had already been locked away, but the air was so tense it could shatter. Reporters gripped their notepads, anticipating drama, but even they hadn't seen this coming. The moment DaBaby took the stand, silence fell. Diddy didn't even look up at first, but the ripple of gasps caused him to turn his head. The smug confidence he'd worn that morning began to crack. His attorneys leaned in, the prosecution straightened. The judge peered over her glasses, then looked at DaBaby, as if to confirm this wasn't a stunt. DaBaby was sworn in and wasted no time. When asked again if he had knowledge relevant to Sean Combs' actions, he didn't nod. He leaned forward and repeated the name, Beyoncé. The silence that followed was louder than any shout. Reporters exchanged looks of disbelief. Even the judge leaned back in her chair. This wasn't a name drop. It was the name. The untouchable icon. The Queen. And now, according to DaBaby, part of a story far darker than anyone had imagined. He claimed to have footage that would change everything. The prosecution lit up. The defense scrambled. Diddy no longer looked relaxed. He gripped the table like he'd seen a ghost. DaBaby wasn't done. He stared directly at the jury and asked a chilling question. Everyone keeps asking who Diddy had control over. But maybe the real question is, who gave him that control in the first place? This wasn't about parties or NDAs anymore. It was about power. About how Diddy, a man who many believed to be above the rules, managed to operate in close proximity to even the most powerful woman in music. The prosecutor followed up, Mr. Kirk, are you saying Beyoncé Knowles Carter is involved in this case? DaBaby didn't flinch. No, he said calmly. I'm saying she was close enough to Diddy for people to stop asking who he controlled and start asking who let him get that close. The courtroom recoiled, not in disbelief, but in realization. DaBaby wasn't accusing Beyoncé of a crime. He was exposing a silent system of access, influence, and power. He described a moment at the 2015 BET Hip Hop Awards. On his way to a last-minute rehearsal, he passed a corridor backstage. Cameras had been shut off. Security had cleared the area. Yet there, he claimed, stood Diddy and Beyoncé, together, in a moment not quite business, not quite personal. He described how Diddy touched her arm, how she leaned in, how no one else was around. He claimed to have obtained a silent video clip through a former security guard who was fired shortly after the event. DaBaby emphasized the footage wasn't scandalous in the traditional sense, but it revealed something deeper, a familiarity, a subtle power dynamic, and the kind of access that shouldn't have existed without deeper implications. He explained that what disturbed him most wasn't the interaction itself, it was the context. Diddy thought she was his, he said. Maybe not the way the tabloids would spin it, but in the way predators think they own everyone around them. That statement shook the room, and DaBaby still wasn't done. He pointed to what happened afterward. According to him, Jay-Z saw the footage. Maybe not the exact copy he had, but something close. From that point on, Diddy was no longer seen at Roc Nation brunches. Joint projects between the moguls quietly dissolved. Appearances where they once shared the spotlight, like the Met Gala or title rollouts, ceased. Jay-Z, DaBaby claimed, didn't confront Diddy. He simply cut ties. Not publicly, but surgically. Then came the whispered theory. What if Beyoncé wasn't complicit? What if she was cornered? What if Jay-Z's silence wasn't betrayal but protection? Reporters stopped typing. DaBaby went further. After 2015, Beyoncé's public image became even more tightly controlled. Her movements, her appearances, her personal space, all guarded like state secrets. That didn't happen by accident, he said. That was because something got too close. DaBaby described the footage in vivid detail. Not grainy, not accidental, but captured on a backstage security camera. Diddy approached slowly, confidently. He rested his hand on Beyoncé's waist. She smiled, not her performance smile, but something more personal. He whispered something. She laughed. The video was short, but the implications were massive. There was more. DaBaby claimed there were additional files, screenshots, private moments, and one photo that showed Diddy kissing Beyoncé's cheek while Jay-Z stood nearby. When asked how he got them, DaBaby said he couldn't name names. The files were given to him by someone inside, someone tired of the silence. The judge instructed the jury to disregard the photos, but the damage was done. The narrative had shifted. DaBaby then explained the culture of silence in the industry. He described how access, not talent, ran the business. If you wanted in, you played the game. You didn't ask questions. He mentioned a 2016 party in Hollywood Hills, where he observed Beyoncé joining Diddy in a VIP area within minutes of arriving. The room shifted. People whispered. One person said, "They still got that thing, huh?" That's when he realized something more was going on. When asked if Beyoncé was under Diddy's control, he said no, but she was under pressure. The kind of pressure someone like Diddy could exert without saying a word. Then he dropped the hammer. There had been a PR meeting in 2017 to shut down rumors about a compromising video. "We don't discuss this again. Ever," was what someone reportedly said inside the room. He didn't stop there. Jay-Z, he claimed, had seen the footage, or at least someone on his digital team had. The clip was uploaded briefly to an encrypted server used by industry fixers, then wiped within 24 hours. And then came the most controversial suggestion. The Lemonade album, often interpreted as a personal reckoning about infidelity, may have also been a coded response to that moment. A layered message. A warning. A reckoning at the heart of an empire built on controlled silence. As DaBaby wrapped up, he left the court with a final statement. Jay didn't confront Diddy because he couldn't. He built his empire with the same silence he now needed to protect it. And that's what this case is really about. Not just what Diddy did, but what the industry let him do. Outside the courtroom, the impact of the testimony was immediate and seismic. PR teams panicked. Beyoncé's camp, usually impenetrable, was suddenly scrambled. Whisper networks ignited. Think pieces were published. Some defended Beyoncé, while others began to question everything. Her affiliations, her silence, and whether Lemonade was more than a marital drama. By the end of the week, news outlets could no longer ignore the story. DaBaby names Beyoncé in Diddy scandal trended worldwide. Beyoncé's team issued a surgical statement. Beyoncé Knowles Carter has never been the subject of any criminal investigation. We will not dignify irresponsible courtroom speculation. But the damage was done. DaBaby had one final word as he left the stand. If you think this stops with me, you're not paying attention. I'm just the first domino. And with that, the courtroom and the industry braced for what might come next. What began as a routine court day quickly spiraled into shock when DaBaby was unexpectedly called to the witness stand. Not for spectacle, but to tell the truth. He claimed to possess a video from the 2015 BET Awards showing an unusually close interaction between Diddy and Beyoncé, one that wasn't just casual or professional. The courtroom fell into stunned silence when he spoke Beyoncé's name. His testimony not only cast doubt on Diddy's character, but exposed the underlying system of the entertainment industry, where power is used as leverage and silence is the currency. DaBaby's words unveiled hidden truths about the connections between Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Diddy, revealing that in the game of influence, even the most protected personas are not beyond reach, especially when hidden behind a wall of silence.